For decades, the fight against cancer has been about one thing: destruction. But what if there's another way? What if the key wasn't just about destroying cancer, but about, well, starving it? Today, we're diving into a fascinating new frontier in cancer research that targets a tumor's most basic need: its fuel. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Could the very thing that makes cancer so aggressive, its relentless, insatiable hunger for growth, actually be its Achilles heel? That's the core idea we're going to unpack together. All right, so where do we even start if we want to starve a tumor? Well, first, you have to figure out what's on its menu. And as it turns out, a lot of cancers have a huge, and I mean huge, sweet tooth. Yup, you heard that right: sugar. Just like a high-performance engine guzzles fuel, cancer's out-of-control growth engine runs on glucose. But here's the kicker: it doesn't just use sugar, it devours it in a way that's totally different from our healthy cells. This crazy appetite for glucose is one of its most defining and potentially vulnerable characteristics. And this isn't some brand new discovery. Scientists have actually known about cancer's weird relationship with sugar for almost 100 years. It even has a name: the Warburg effect. So let's break down what that actually means. So the really crucial part of that definition is right at the end: even when oxygen is present. See, most of our healthy cells use oxygen to very efficiently burn glucose and get a ton of energy. But cancer cells, they often go for a much faster but way less efficient method called fermentation. They're basically hot wiring their energy system for pure speed over efficiency. Here's a great way to think about it. A healthy cell carefully sips its glucose, using oxygen to get every last bit of energy out of it. A cancer cell, on the other hand, just gulps it down. It's messy, it's inefficient, and it means the cancer cell has to consume absolutely massive amounts of sugar to get the quick energy it craves to keep dividing. And that very dependence, that's the weakness we're looking for. Okay, so if we know cancer is basically a glucose addict, the next question is pretty obvious, right? What happens if we just cut off its supply? And that's the whole strategy in a nutshell. It's actually kind of elegant. Instead of just trying to poison the cancer cell with brute force, the idea is to find things that can throw a wrench in its metabolic machinery, block its access to glucose, or just gum up its ability to use it. Basically, starve it out. So what do these metabolic wrenches actually look like in the real world? Well, this is where it gets really interesting, because the potential answers are coming from some very unexpected places. Just take a look at this. It's fascinating. On one hand, you've got off-label drugs like metformin, a super common diabetes drug that millions of people already take, which just happens to mess with these metabolic pathways. And then on the other hand, you have simple supplements from plants we see all the time, like curcumin from turmeric or berberine. It shows that researchers are leaving no stone unturned. And this isn't just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. The research is becoming really systematic. Scientists are building tools like the OncoIntegrate Protocol Builder to organize all this information. It helps them track which compounds hit which parts of cancer's energy supply chain. It's all about building a precise toolkit for this new kind of warfare. When you step back and look at all this, it really points to a huge shift in thinking. We're starting to see cancer not just as a rogue cell to be killed, but as a deeply dysfunctional metabolic system that can be outsmarted. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. For so long, the main strategy has been, carpet bomb the cancer with chemo or radiation. This new approach is, it's more like being a saboteur. It's about disrupting the fundamental process that lets the cancer thrive and creating an environment where it just can't get the fuel it needs to survive. Okay, now it is absolutely crucial we're all on the same page here. Everything we've talked about today is on the cutting edge of research. This is not medical advice, and these are not established treatments. The whole point of this explainer is just to pull back the curtain and understand the exciting new questions that scientists are asking in the lab right now. So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. As our understanding gets deeper, could the future of fighting cancer involve a 1-2 punch? One that attacks the cancer directly, and another, much cleverer approach that manages and cuts off its food supply. It's a really powerful idea, and one that could totally reshape how we think about this disease.